All right, so it looks like things are finally heating up again with Sonic Frontiers. We finally have some brand new information to present to you guys, and this is coming from the game's lead director. So if you guys aren't aware, Morio Kishimoto is the lead director for Sonic Frontiers, and he's also lead directed a couple of other Sonic games in the past. But the problem is, I will show you guys the list of games right here. The games he did were Sonic and the Secret Ring, Sonic and the Black Knight, Sonic Colors, Sonic 4 Episode 2, Sonic Lost World, Sonic Forces, and now the newest game he will be doing is Sonic Frontiers. Now, it doesn't necessarily take a rocket scientist to understand that these are some of the worst Sonic games that have been released ever. Not all of them. Like, I guess Sonic Colors is a pretty good game depending on who you ask. Most would say it's a good game. I think Colors is pretty good as well. But he's got Lost World under his belt. He's got Forces under his belt. He has Secret Rings under his belt. And Sonic 4. I would say he's probably been a part of more bad games than good, but it is what it is. So we finally got an interview with him, and a lot of Sonic fans were looking to speak to this guy directly. I've seen many videos attacking him, saying like we need to see more, especially after we saw the first gameplay trailer, which was very mid. But we have a brand new interview from him, and it tells us a lot about what we need to know for Sonic Frontiers, and very important information regarding the length of the game. The length of almost all Sonic games, especially recent ones, has been very questionable. Look at the most recent game, Sonic Forces. You could probably beat that game in about 2 to 3 hours. Even some of the better ones like Generations, like you could beat those games in 2 to 3 hours, but there is additional content you could do if you're a completionist. But that's not important right now. Let's get into like the meat of this video. Let's talk about the interview he just had with IGN, which gives us a little bit more insight. So the first thing that he sheds light on is the level design of the game, which is something that we all have questions about, and he really talks more about the open zone as opposed to the cyberspace levels, but let's get into it. He says that in previous Sonic titles, we had to gradually make the stages more difficult in order to reach an amount of playtime that would satisfy players. It is natural for level-based platformers to become more difficult as you progress. However, for Sonic games, the problem has always been that higher difficulty can get in the way of the game's sense of speed. In Sonic Frontiers, the open zone offers a lot of content already, so raising the difficulty in order to increase the playtime was no longer necessary. From start to finish, we were able to maintain a sense of speed with ideal level design for a Sonic game. So I'd say right off the bat, I mean, I guess that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because I feel like he's saying that the game doesn't need to get more difficult, which, I mean, most Sonic games are very easy, especially in recent memory. I'm hoping that this game is like somewhat challenging and it's not like the most easy baby game ever, but it's nice to see that he says there's an ideal sense of speed, so we'll just have to look into that a little bit more. And he also says that there's a lot of content in the game, which I agree with. I mean, I don't think this open world looks empty at all. I feel like there's a ton of content. Everywhere you go, like I said before, there is a platforming challenge, which is going to reward the player as long as he completes each individual challenge. So I actually really like that. And he says there's a sense of speed. So I don't know, man. That sounds good to me, but let's continue. Next part of the interview, he talks about the puzzles. He says some of the Sonic Frontiers puzzles are brain teasers, while others test your action techniques or play out as a minigame. That being said, we've included ways for players to get hooked by the puzzle, so please look forward to that. I mean, it depends what they mean by puzzles. If it's just like doing the spin cycle around torches to make them like light up or whatever, I guess that's pretty cool. But also, if you look behind me, there is a platforming puzzle, which he said that there is in the game. I would prefer to see more platforming challenges for the puzzles. I mean, I am a big fan of the Zelda series, so when I think of puzzles, like that's what I think about, and I always thought them to be like something that breaks up the pace a little bit, which you don't really want in a Sonic game. But like I said, if you look at the platforming challenge behind me, it looks pretty fun, so I'm hoping that the puzzles are more platforming based. We also got to look at the HUD and the speedometer in the game, which once again confirms something that I said from my first Sonic Frontiers video. It says that a speedometer indicates just how fast Sonic is running, and this can be upgraded. This seems to indicate no matter how much the open zone shakes up the formula, the main concept of what makes a Sonic game hasn't changed. That's pretty good. Like I said, I like the speedometer. I like that you're going to be able to upgrade his speed. He did look a little slow in those trailers, I'm not going to lie. And the HUD looks very clean. Once again, it doesn't really look like it gets in the way. So I just wanted you guys to see that. But anyways, let's move on. The next part of the interview, he talks about the open zone, which he says is to be the secret weapon. They keep talking about open zone and they want to like educate us about what it means. So I guess let's see if there's any more insight that makes it a little bit more clear. He says a playable world map that includes just stage-like elements is something that hasn't really been done before, so we had to come up with a new name. What is often defined as a world in other level-based platformers is called a zone in Sonic games. So we looked at that and combined it with open, which refers to a freely explorable field. So that is what open zone stands for. So I guess what he means by open zone is one giant zone with like a bunch of levels mixed into it. I don't really know. I mean, to us, we call it open world, but I guess they have a different definition for it, which is super important, which like actually means something. They say it's a secret weapon. So they're saying that the open world is going to be the best part of the game. They said that we're going to be able to explore freely and the player's going to have like their own freedom to do whatever they want. That's pretty cool because I saw in an interview there talking about like, oh, you could skip the combat if you don't want to do combat, if platforming is more your thing. I don't know how the progression is going to work in that sense because I'm pretty sure you need to do the combat that in order to go into the cyberspace. So it's pretty interesting to see that. I mean, we're going to have to really see more footage and kind of see the gameplay loop in full swing. I would like them to come out with an interview where we see like what we do start to finish. Like, what is the gameplay loop for one island? How do we do it? How do we complete it? But like I said before, I'm pretty optimistic about the game. I just would like to see more. I guess to elaborate, in the next part of that interview, he goes, open zone stands central in Sonic Frontiers gameplay, and the game's levels exist as elements within this area. From grind rails to platform objects, loops, and so on, the open zone is packed with athletic action that we love in Sonic games. Yeah, so that's pretty much right. I mean, it's just one giant zone with a bunch of mini levels scattered in between. Each platforming challenge is going to reward you with a collectible and so on, so we kind of know how that works. Like I said before, I really do just want to see the gameplay loop. But let's continue, because this is actually the best part of the interview. This is where he goes into the length of the game, and this is what's really going to separate this game from all other Sonic games. So here's the biggest part of the interview. It says, Kishimoto says that it should take the average player between 20 and 30 hours to finish the game. While completionists can easily spend double the time to see everything, to keep the player motivated throughout the journey, Kishimoto and his team decided to implement character progression to accompany the longer playtime. So that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the biggest part about this game. Like, right off the bat, we already know that this is going to be a full-length open world platformer, whatever you want to call it. This is not going to be a spin-off quality game, which is like Sonic Forces, in my opinion, which wasn't even a full-price game. I'm actually looking really forward to completing this game 100%. I don't normally do that with games, but this seems like the type of game where you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to explore the world. You're going to want to collect all the tokens, and when you go into the cyberspace levels, there's going to be red rings. There's going to be challenges where you have to get to point A to point B fast. You got to beat the cyberspace levels within a certain amount of time. Just in general, the time challenges look really fun, and it looks like something that's going to extend the life cycle of this game. Very excited to hear that news. I would say that's probably the biggest thing that we've learned so far. A Sonic game that takes 30 hours, like, thank God, man. I'm so happy that we waited 5 years for this game. We're going to get a normal length game. Not even like a long game, but like a normal industry standard length game. If you think of games like Pokemon Legends Arceus, I think that game was about 25 hours to complete the main story, maybe 30 hours. So it's about on par with that, and I really did like that game, so I do like what I hear from this. And the good news is that this is an action-based platformer, so it feels like there's going to be a lot more action in this game as opposed to Pokemon. I don't know if any of you guys have played it, but this is at least a very positive development. I feel like it's a step in the right direction. There was one thing that I did not want to have, was another Sonic Forces, a game where we can complete it in 4 hours. But like I said, the main takeaway is that this game is going to take a long time. We have a lot of content to sink our teeth into. Like, it's not just going to be an empty game. There's going to be tons of stuff to do. The biggest concern is hopefully there isn't a lot of filler content or stuff that isn't fun to do. But to me, I think that, you know, based off of the nature of the game and what you're supposed to do in it, there's going to be plenty of action. But what do you guys think about this? This is all pretty crazy news in regards to the new Sonic Frontiers game. Are you guys happy with this? Do you want a longer game? Do you want a shorter game? Do you think that the game's not long enough? Because I actually have a concern that it might not be long enough. I was hoping for a little bit more time to complete the story. Probably be done with this game in like 3 days. And hopefully the content isn't filler like Sonic Unleashed, where you're just forced to go get those medals. But we'll just have to see. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 30,000 subscribers as soon as possible. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Want to give a huge shout out to all my channel members. You guys keep this channel going, so we do appreciate you guys a ton. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to turn on notifications as well. But I got nothing else to say to you guys. Until I see you next time, peace out.